everyone. I'm Courtney Robinson, and I'm here with senior producer Beth Tunis. Beth is a mom-to-be.
Yep.
You're expecting your first.
Yes, I am.
How far along are you?
38 weeks.
38 weeks, so getting very, very close.
Very close, yep.
And you kind of had one of those, as a mom of two, I've been through it where there are different things that you go, oh my gosh, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Was it last night or this morning? This morning where you saw an alert and you said,
I should probably check.
Yeah. So what happened?
A couple weeks ago, or over the last couple weeks, I've been getting free samples of infant formula, which I think is great because you don't know what you're going to need as a new mom.
And that's very, very common. You Similac will send samples. Enfamil will send. The major formula makers will send samples to moms.
Right.
I mean, trying to
get them to like their brand, but it is good to see what's out there.
It's expensive too. So.
Right. So I was, taking free samples. I had it in my cupboard, just holding on until I knew if I needed it or not. And I knew they were in there, so when I saw the alerts coming in on social media this morning about the FDA and what they had to say, I immediately went to the website to see if I had some of those recalled.
And let's share really quickly before we get too far into it. So, this morning the FDA is warning about baby formula. There's a recall. You can see that some of the products here. It's Similac, and it's all powdered form. So it's Similac, Alimentum, or Elecare. And again, it's powdered infant formulas. And these are the products that have been recalled because, according to the FDA, they may contain a very serious bacteria that can lead to some serious complications. FDA saying at least 4 babies have been impacted in 3 different states, but these products are sold all over the United States and even overseas. They say 1 baby possibly even died from complications from the bacteria that was in this. And again, you're looking at it, Similac, Alimentum. A lot of people use the Alimentum liquid form. That is not impacted. It's powdered form, and then Elecare as well. These are the impacted products, and to know if it's one of your products, these are what you need to look for. FDA advising not to use Similac, Alimentum, or Elecare if the first 2 digits are 22 through 37. The code on the container contains K8, SH, or Z2, and the expiration date is April 1st, 2022 or later. And just to take it back to these products, many of the moms out there who are watching, probably that have maybe had children with allergies or milk allergies, or even need certain proteins or certain specialized milk. They're familiar with Alimentum and Elecare because those are specialty formulas that are hypoallergenic and whatnot, and so and they're expensive. And you may be familiar with those as well. Similac, of course, a major brand,
right,
as well. So let me bring it back here with Beth and I. So Beth, you went in and you said, okay, let me see if I have.
Let me pull those out of the cupboard and see if they are part of the recall. And they had the K8 number on them.
Okay.
So I did go to the Similac.com. Right at the top of the screen, if you can see on my phone, I went on my phone, the orange bar at the top at Similac.com. And if
we just lost our light, but we're still.
we
If you have questions, by the way, please ask. We're trying to answer for you too.
Yep. And if you click on that orange bar, it'll take you to Abbott's recall notice. That's hard to see on a white screen. But scrolling down to the bottom of that page, there are 2 blue boxes, and those boxes will take you to a site that'll check the lot number, which is on the bottom of the Similac product, or just information about the recall as well.
And I'm just trying to see if anybody out there, if you're watching and you have questions, please, of course, ask. One thing that I kind of looked up because I was curious about this. Well, first of all, let me say this. First of all, I reached out to a nurse practitioner who I know who works in a pediatrician's office to ask if they were hearing from moms. A lot of moms have already, and parents have reached out to us because there has been a formula shortage, and people have had a difficult time just finding regular formulas out there on shelves, and so that's already been a difficulty. But I asked if they were hearing from moms about this recall, and then of course the struggle to find what they were supposed to do, because you have to feed your baby.
Yeah.
And she said, yes, they are, and that the advice that they were giving is, of course, to check the supply that they have, to make sure that to check the recall website, see if it was under recall. And then she also said that they were switching some families to Enfamil Nutramygan or Pure Amino if they were on Elecare. So there are other options out there. That's a great thing to know. The other thing is, she said, you can always contact your pediatrician or your gastroenterologist if you have a child who has these allergies or severe issues. My son had some issues as well, and we had a pediatric gastroenterologist that we saw. You can reach out to those practitioners and say, I need samples, and they have them available, and they can help you with those. So that there are options again out there. But I was curious.
Yeah.
Beth and I were talking. I was curious about just how many babies rely on formula, and these are the latest numbers from the CDC from their breastfeeding report. And this is from babies born in 2017, and the numbers kind of fluctuate, but they usually kind of stick around. Within the first 2 days of life, roughly 22% of babies born in Florida receive some form of formula supplementation. So that's important to note. But then exclusively breastfeeding through 6 months, that's only 20% of babies in Florida. So basically 80% are either on formula or they're receiving
for
some kind of supplement. And it's something, that we all experience, and we all eventually it depends on the family. Some of us have to go to formula whether we want to or not.
Right, you don't know. You have to make that decision as it
and you were
happens.
stocking up kind of
right,
with those.
Thinking I don't know what I may or may not need in the future, and so having those free samples or free product it's kind of helpful. So and knowing that it was sitting in my cupboard, and if I wasn't in news, I probably wouldn't have thought to check if it was recalled or look at the bottom. Or
it's the last thing you look at.
Yeah. I just would think, oh, this is nice, this is great, I have this in case I need it.
Or 6 months down the 6 months down the road when you come back to work or whatnot, and
I need it, and then something happens. So
they're on they're sitting on your countertop right now, but what's going to happen to them now?
I mean, I'm going to throw away the ones that are on the recall list. So looking it up, checked it.
Were they all on?
2 of them were.
And then how many other?
I got 3. They get 3 in a pack. Yep.
Oh,
and
it was the same pack.
Same pack. They all came in the mail together, 3 containers, and they had the 2 of the K8 number, I believe. That was that was on the list, and double check that again on the website.
Here it is. Let me show that.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is so those are, again, the products. Similac, just powdered Similac formula. Alimentum, so Alimentum powder, Elecare powder, and then this is what you need to know as far as what you're going to look at. So I'm going to leave that up there for a little bit so you can see. We did hear from Marley, and she said, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, I apologize, but she said, my daughter was taking the Alimentum from a sample can that I received, and it was causing her vomiting. I stopped it and switched it to soy formula. Okay, so here is something else that's really important. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because one of the questions that, of course, Beth and I have as mom to be and mom of 2 and also working in news is like, okay, so if I have this and I've been using this, what do I need to know? What are the symptoms? So according to the FDA, the bacteria that they're concerned about, Chronobacter, it can cause severe life-threatening infections, including sepsis and or meningitis. And so here are the symptoms of sepsis and meningitis that you should be looking for. Poor feeding, irritability, temperature changes, jaundice. Jaundice is that yellow tinge to the skin. If you look at the whites of your baby's eyes, you'll see a little bit of yellow. A lot of babies born, my son was born with jaundice. Grunting breaths, abnormal movements. It can also cause bowel damage and can spread to the blood. If you're concerned about it, you need to call your pediatrician. So if your baby's vomiting and that sort of thing, I mean, I know you said you switched to a soy formula, and that's awesome. Hopefully, again, let me put up the products that you'll see. And this right here that you'll see, it shows Similac Advanced, but it's all Similac powders. It's Alimentum powders and Elecare powders. But if your child's experiencing anything, you just need to call. Salmonella, it was another symptom or another cause of gastro issues. And that can cause high fever, aches, headaches, rash, blood in urine and stool. And of course, salmonella, as we know, can become fatal. It's really important, like Beth said, it's not at least for me, there are a lot of things that you just kind of get. You go through the motions, you trust, especially with a newborn,
right.
And you're not looking for expiration dates or whatnot, or recalls. But it's important to pay attention to, and so we wanted to bring attention to this morning because, again, if we have if we have 80% of babies up to 6 months that are using some form of formula, and 22% within the first 2 days, it's important to really be aware, again, of this recall and what's happening. I mean, now
double check, yeah.
For me, when with my daughter, I looked at different things. That was more when she was born. I think we were dealing more with like lead in baby food, and I did check all of it, and they were okay. But with my son, there was a product that was made to make life easier, and I got that product and just happened to be, again, like you said, in news, I was reading some different articles, came across this product, and there had been concern that the product could lead to bacteria in the formula. Okay. And so there was a solution, and so that's, but otherwise, the way I was using it was not appropriate. And so I changed the way I was using it, but it's important to just pay attention, I think, to how we're doing that.
Right. And there's already so much to pay attention to. I mean, for moms-to-be or current moms, you're thinking about so many things already, so this is a lot to add to it. So, Marley,
however, I apologize if I'm saying it wrong, but I know you said you stopped and switched to a formula. Did you switch to a different brand? I'm curious about that. And then, yes, as you pointed out, there are groups that sell formula, so of course you do need to be aware. Let me just really quickly, for those of you who may now just be joining us, I just kind of want to bring you up to date on what we got going on here. So, FDA warning about and issuing a recall immediately for Similac products that are powder-based, all Similac formulas that are powder-based that were made and contain certain serial numbers. Alimentum powder, Elecare powder. And that is because there's concern for bacterial contamination. And these are the digits that you need to look for. The codes are 22 through 37. You can find this on the bottom of the tin.
Yep, on the bottom of the tin.
Beth found it on the bottom of the tin. The code on the container contains K8, SH, or Z2, expiration date 4/1/2022. Again, powdered products. And so you want to look for this. If you have it and you received it for free like Beth did as a sample, toss it. If you bought it somewhere, I would encourage you to take it back to the store and return it under the recall, but definitely stop feeding your babies these products. And then again, make sure that you check to see if the products are recalled. I did speak to a nurse practitioner who works in a pediatrician's office, and she told me what they are also doing for those who have reached out concerned. She says, yes, families have reached out. She advised you can reach out to your pediatric gastroenterologist because the Alimentum and the Elecare are specialty formulas for babies who maybe have some allergies or some milk protein deficiencies or whatnot. So you can reach out to maybe a pediatric gastroenterologist who you're seeing or your pediatrician for samples. She also says that they are switching some families to different products because there are other options that are out there. That includes Enfamil Nutramycin or Pure Amino. If you're on Elecare, again, call your pediatrician. You want to look for symptoms because the bacteria, according to the FDA, can cause salmonella, and also there's a chronobacter, which can lead to sepsis and meningitis. There's a lot of just things that you should look for. If your baby is feeding and it doesn't seem normal and you're concerned, please call your pediatrician and reach out to them because it's really, really important. This is nothing to mess with.
Right.
FDA says 3 babies sick, Minnesota, Ohio, Texas. At least one baby may have died from this, from complications from this.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
It is. It is.
Does it make you, I'm curious, Beth, for you, because like you said, it was you saw the social media stuff and you said, I got to go in and check my things. Does it make you think twice about other products you have?
Yeah, I think everything, I'm going to be looking up recalls for pretty much everything now. I mean, I know I've got that first-time mom kind of worry that some might laugh at, but
no,
I'll just be.
No moms listening here are laughing because we've all been there.
Yeah, so it makes you think about everything that you're buying, that you're getting for free too, because you do get a lot of samples for a lot of different things.
Oh yes, Sandy pointed this out. She says, please grandmothers check as well. Any caretaker, if you're a caretaker out there and please check those tens. And again, let me go ahead and put this up because this is really the information. You don't need to see my face. You need to see these. This is what you need to check for on those tens. So please check for that. Any kind of caregiver, whether you're a grandmother or a neighbor, a babysitter, a mom, a dad, check for that. Dwana asks, what do you do if your child has already had a can that was recalled? If your child is exhibiting any symptoms, you should notify your pediatrician. Give your pediatrician a call. And also, I'm a little more, I get a little more heightened fear, I guess. So I would probably just reach out to my pediatrician right now and say, my child just finished a can of this recalled stuff, and just get their advice and what they want you to look for. What the FDA has advised is looking for, if your child has a fever, aches, headaches, lethargy, rash, blood in urine or stool, if they if they're feeding in a different way, if they're irritable, if their temperature changes, any changes in their skin color, like those are all big things. But I think reaching out to your pediatrician is your best bet, and it's worth. I mean, look, I know that. Just again, I did speak with a nurse practitioner at a pediatrician's office, and they're getting calls right now. It is okay. That's why they're there. Call them. Talk with them and let them know, but you do want to make sure that you're checking for this because it's a scary thing. And the other thing that we had talked about too, again with the supply shortage in formula in general,
hard to find.
It's hard to find, and I know that the pediatrician that I spoke to said you can reach out for samples, and you can also be switched to different things if you need to. Another thing that I know that happens is that there are, and another individual pointed out, Marley pointed out, I'm saying it wrong. She pointed out that there are Facebook groups that sell formula. I know for myself, I can remember getting to the tail end of needing formula for my children and always having that leftover unopened package, and I would always donate it. But you can also reach out on Facebook groups and you can ask, hey, does anyone have unopened Alimentum, Elecare, or Similac, or any formula unopened that, doesn't meet, again, let me just show you the...
Yeah, whatever's coming into your house, whether it's a free sample, something you're getting from someone else, or something you're buying.
Check for it.
Checking.
But you could always ask, like on a mom's Facebook group, if anyone has any that they would be willing to share with you, if you can't find it anywhere else. But again, there do seem to be resources. Okay, so Linda was asking, what are the symptoms? Let me really quickly, again, I just want to share with you, the recall involves Similac baby formulas that are powdered. It involves Alimentum that is powdered, and it involves Elecare that is powdered, and this stems from a plant in Michigan and possible bacteria contamination. 3 children sick, 3 with Chronobacter, which is a very serious bacteria, and another child with Salmonella. At least 1 child, they believe, died from complications. So these Similac powder formula, Alimentum powder formula, Elecare powdered formula, and then these are the digits that you need to look for, the codes on the containers, and the expiration dates. That very, very important. So the symptoms with the Chronobacter bacteria, it can cause sepsis, it can cause meningitis. These are very, very serious things. The symptoms of sepsis and meningitis can include poor feeding, irritability, temperature changes, jaundice, which, you know, that yellow skin, yellowing in the eyes, grunting breaths, and abnormal movements. It can cause bowel damage, and it can also spread into the blood, which is what they said happened to some of these children. The Salmonella symptoms would be, you know, you can have diarrhea, fever, abdominal cramps. I mean, I would say that you see vomiting, as one mom pointed out, you know. You know, the more severe cases can include high fever, aches, headaches, you know, if they're really, really, really sleepy, a rash, blood in the urine or stool, and again, these are very, 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 very serious things. So don't take a chance. If you have this, if you've been feeding your child this, it's worth a call to the pediatrician to say maybe they have other things to look out for before it gets to that point.
Right.
But Beth, you know, Beth is here. Beth is one of our senior producers. 2 weeks away from baby coming into the world, and you had those free samples that you received from Similac, and you saw the social media alerts and went in. And Beth, very quickly, if you can show on here, I know it's maybe a little bit hard to see. You're seeing these codes. So hold on really quickly. So we've shared these codes with you, but there's another way to check. So if you have the Similac powder, if you have Alimentum powder, if you have Elecare powder, you can go onto the Similac website.
Yep, if you go to Similac.com, that orange bar at the top of the website, if you click on it, it will take you to the recall notice, and you can check the lot number by clicking on one of those blue boxes at the bottom. So it'll take you to a website. You just need to look at the bottom of your Similac can and put in the lot number. It does tell you where to look. I know that's, again, difficult to see, but it tells you where to look on the can to find the lot number. You just put it in there, search, and it'll say yes or no if it's on the recall list. So very easy to do, to double check.
Tia, I hope that Tia, did that answer your question? Because she was asking, like, what do all these numbers mean? And that's really overwhelming. I mean, and I know we're throwing that up, but again, you go to that Similac website, and then you can also, I think you can also go onto the FDA, and they'll take you to different links to check and see if your formula is on the recall. If you received a free sample of it, just toss it. If you bought it at a store, I would encourage you to go back to the store.
Right, because they can be expensive.
I mean, we were just looking.
Right.
You know, a can of Similac powder, and I remember I used a different brand, but $37 for 30 ounces or whatnot. Yeah. I mean, it's like $1 an ounce. It's so expensive, and so, you know, when you receive these free samples, you're like, yeah, but it's not just the free samples that are under recall. So make sure that you're checking this and that you're just taking the proper precautions. especially just for parents, really quickly, for the moms out there, I'm sure that the big concern, again, when we pull this up and we show, it's Similac powder, that not just the Advance, it's just Similac formula. This is just one example. But Alimentum and Elecare, these are specialty formulas, and these are ones that, you may need because there's some kind of food allergy, or there's some kind of deficiency, and they need this protein. And so those are expensive. They're also hard to find at times, just with this shortage. And so just so that again, when I reached out to someone in a pediatrician's office, to a nurse practitioner, there are other options, there are other brands, there are things that they can do. So please, know that it's okay. And pediatricians' offices, they can help you with free samples.
Yep.
If you are going to a pediatric gastroenterologist, they also have free samples that they can provide you with to kind of help get through. And then this plant, they're not producing right now, as the FDA has gone in and investigating,
Yep.
but it's just a really big one. So I'm trying to read
And
this.
it's a lot of women out there too. I mean, that are a lot of parents, a lot of babies that are using this formula. So
yes, and this was another advice from the FDA. I just saw this right here to share. Parents and caregivers, do not dilute the infant formula, and should not make at-home formula. So do not make at-home infant formula. If you are concerned about this, contact your pediatrician, contact I would say your health department. Contact someone, and they can help you find an alternative. But make sure that what you're giving your child, again, is not one of these that is under the recall: the Similac powdered infant formula, the Alimentum powdered infant formula, or the Elecare infant formula. And these right here are the codes that you would be looking for. Expiration date is April 1st, 2022 or later. And so as Beth shared, shared, you can just go on to Similac.com. There's a big orange bar, click that, and it'll take you to a place where you just type in, it'll tell you what to look for, type it in, and then it'll tell you, yes, it's recalled, no, it's not. If it's recalled and you're concerned about your child, call your healthcare provider. Right. Yeah, it's a scary thing for parents. I mean, I relied exclusively on formula after a certain point for both of my children.
Yeah.
And you have to feed them when they're hungry, and it's already hard enough to try and find it on shelves. So I understand how frantic it can be, and especially for those of you who do use those specialty formulas.
Yeah, and one of our viewers made a good point of asking grandparents, caregivers, making sure that they don't have any of the recalled formulas as well.
I will say this is important to point out too, because it's Similac. It's there are plenty of other brands out there, but it doesn't involve the liquid.
Right.
It doesn't involve the liquid. So if you have the liquid Alimentum, the liquid Elecare, any liquid, it doesn't involve that. And some of you may have received free samples of liquid formula, and that's, the liquid is not currently under there. That's not what the concern is. It's
just
for
the
powder formula.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that has questions. Thank you all who have shared this with baby formula breastfeeding groups. It is important for people to be aware. Because we're talking about it right now.
There's so much to think about already, and then to add this in, it's a lot.
It is a lot, and I know
and
that
it's
you got
scary.
your
I
first
know.
taste. But it's okay, right?
Yeah, right.
You saw it. You're good.
Just take the steps. I'm going to throw it out.
Check for the recalls.
Check every other product that I got for free for recalls. But yeah. I mean, it's just what you have to do.
Well, and even, honestly, I checked recalls for certain things that I would buy, rockers and that sort of thing that I would buy from secondhand stores.
Or you think car seats, all these things that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it is worth, like, if it's your your child, but this is something you have it and
They have to eat.
and and it's not always easy to get to the store, so we understand that. But again, there are options available that we've already gone through, and I hope this helps, and we'll continue to talk about this and share it. We're going to have a story on midday, so coming up at noon on Channel 10, we'll have a story on this, and then we'll also have more at 5:30 on here on 10 Tampa Bay, and then just I just thought it was interesting because it impacts so many. I mean,
Right.
80% of babies in Florida, according to the last CDC information, are at some point using formula. That's a lot of babies.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right. Well, thank you all for being part of this and for your comments and questions. Again, hopefully it helped, and let's all wish Beth the best in labor.
Yeah,
It's
coming up soon.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got this, Mama. And Beth and Sarah Rosario, who we also work with. She has 2 little ones as well. You all really sounded the alarm on this morning that we
Right.
needed to kind of also bring this to a more public.
Because it does. It shakes you up when you see something like that. When you check the number and you do have something that's on a recall list, it kind of puts you into high alert. So.
And it wasn't just, I mean, I think that's the other thing, is that it's not just like a recall. We say like salad recall.
Right.
This is another formula recall, but this is something that is really serious because it's not just like expired.
You're right.
It's
a bacteria. It's something.
That could kill your baby.
Yeah.
It's something that
that
could kill
can
your
make
baby.
them very sick. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very sick, and especially if it's an infant, you want to do everything you can to keep them as safe as possible. So, all right, I hope that you all have a wonderful day. We'll see you. I got to hop off because I have to go get ready for the noon.
Right.
But I'll see you at noon here on 10 Tampa Bay, and then again at 5. Thank you. And thank you, Beth, for sharing and telling us, how easy it was for you to find out that which ones,
Were
out
on
of
the
the
list.
310s that you got in one package, 2 were recalled, 1's okay. You're going to keep that other okay 10?
I don't know. We'll see.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's
But yeah,
important. We'll
it
continue
is,
to, and we'll stay on top of this, and we'll let you know. Again, have a great day, and we'll talk with you soon.